Welcome dear brothers and sisters to the analysis of Spiritual Gems for this week from March 23 to 29, 2026. The question for this week is, what three fulfillments does this prophecy have? And it is based on the biblical text of Isaiah 49 verse 8, which says, "This is what Jehovah says, in a favorable time I answered you, and in a day of salvation I helped you. I kept safeguarding you to give you as a covenant for the people, to restore the land, to make them take possession of the desolated inheritances." Answer 1. The first fulfillment took place in Israel's restoration after the exile in Babylon. Jehovah answered his people in a favorable time, helped them, and allowed the prisoners to come out and return to their devastated land. Answer 2. The second fulfillment was messianic, in Jesus Christ. During his life on earth, Jehovah answered his servant and helped him in that day of salvation, while Jesus demonstrated perfect integrity and became responsible for everlasting salvation. Answer 3. The third fulfillment applied to the anointed Christians, the Israel of God. Paul applied this prophecy to fellow Christians and said, "Now is the especially acceptable time. Look! Now is the day of salvation." Answer 4. So this prophecy had three fulfillments, first in the restoration of the Jews from Babylon, then in Jesus as the Messianic servant, and finally in the anointed Christians. That shows that Jehovah's word can have a progressive and very complete fulfillment.
Now we move on to the hidden pearls of chapters 48 and 49 of Isaiah, starting with chapter 48. Gem 1. It stands out to me that they could swear by Jehovah and still not do it with sincerity or righteousness. That reminds me that having the name or the appearance is not enough. Jehovah sees what is underneath, whether we are really serving him from the heart. Gem 2. Jehovah says he announced things in advance so they would not credit their idols. That teaches me that Jehovah makes it very clear who deserves the glory. And it also makes me think about whether I always give him the credit. Gem 3. When Jehovah says they had been treacherous from birth, I see how well he knows us. Jehovah has no unrealistic illusions about us, yet he still deals with us patiently. That says a lot about his mercy. Gem 4. I am moved by the fact that Jehovah says he restrains his anger for the sake of my name. Sometimes a person keeps going, not because he deserves it, but because Jehovah chooses to act with mercy. That makes me value his patience even more and not take advantage of it. Gem 5. The expression "the furnace of affliction is strong, but real." Trials sometimes burn, but they also refine. This verse helps me remember that Jehovah can use even painful moments to refine something good in me. Gem 6. For my own sake, I will act. I like that because it shows that Jehovah never loses sight of his name and his glory. And honestly, that brings stability. The way he acts is not based on whims, but on perfect principles. Gem 7. I love this verse. Jehovah teaches me for your own good. Obedience can sometimes feel restrictive, but it actually protects us. Jehovah does not give commands to make life harder, but to guide us in the best possible way. Gem 8. If only you would pay attention. What a tender and at the same time sad expression. It makes me think about how many problems I could avoid if I listened to Jehovah sooner. He does not want to take away anything good. He wants to give me peace like a river. Gem 9. Get out of Babylon. Sounds like an urgent and joyful call. It reminds me that when Jehovah frees us, it is not so we can look back with nostalgia, but so we can leave with determination. Sometimes we too need to leave behind settings or habits that enslave us. Gem 10. The ending is very clear. There is no peace for the wicked. That helps me never envy a life away from Jehovah. It may look free or attractive, but real peace comes only from Jehovah. Finally, the pearls for chapter 49 of Isaiah that we have found for this week are: Gem 1. It impresses me that Jehovah called his servant before he was even born and prepared him so carefully. That reminds me that Jehovah does not improvise with his purposes. And it also encourages me to think that he can give direction to a life from very early on. Gem 2. This statement really touches me. I have toiled for nothing. At times a person can feel that way too, as if all his efforts are producing nothing, but the verse adds something key. My reward is with my God. Jehovah sees what others do not see. Gem 3. I like that the servant says Jehovah has become his strength. That is beautiful because it does not reflect self-sufficiency, but healthy dependence. When a person recognizes that his strength comes from Jehovah, he stops carrying everything by himself. Gem 4. This verse greatly broadens the picture. It was not enough just to restore Israel, he would also be a light of nations. That reminds me that Jehovah's purpose has always been bigger than we sometimes imagine. His salvation reaches much farther. Gem 5. It encourages me to see that the servant would first be despised, but later kings would stand up and princes would bow down. Jehovah can completely change the way someone is viewed. That teaches us never to measure things only by the present moment. Gem 6. In a favorable time I answered you. What comfort it is to know that Jehovah answers at the right time. Sometimes we feel that he is delaying, but this text reminds me that he really does hear and help, and that he also knows when to open the door and let people out. Gem 7. They will not hunger or thirst, and he will lead them to springs of water. That image conveys so much care to me. Jehovah not only rescues, he also feeds, guides, and refreshes. He does not take his people out of pain just to leave them on their own afterward. Gem 8. Jehovah has abandoned me, Zion kept saying. But Jehovah answers with one of the tenderest statements in the whole Bible, I will never forget you. It is a precious text for times when a person feels invisible or thinks Jehovah no longer remembers him. Gem 9. The scene of a devastated city later becoming so full of children that there is no room left feels very moving to me. Jehovah can restore life where it seemed that nothing was left. That gives a lot of hope when something seems beyond repair. Gem 10. It strengthens me to read that Jehovah himself says, I will oppose those who oppose you. There are problems I cannot solve, but Jehovah can. Knowing that does not make me passive. It gives me peace and confidence to keep moving forward. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video.